Have you ever felt like your life is spinning out of control, like you're running on a treadmill that only speeds up with every step? One ordinary Tuesday, my life unraveled in the most unexpected way. A forgotten meeting, a gasping panic attack, and a single question scribbled in desperation. What does peace look like? Little did I know, that question would spark a journey that would change everything. The alarm buzzed at 6 a.m., but it might as well have been an air raid siren. My mornings had become a flurry of rushing, panic, and forgetting. Socks mismatched, breakfast skipped, and my thoughts spinning like a carousel set to the highest speed. My life felt like a series of emergencies strung together by fleeting moments of relief. I was surviving, not living. It wasn't always this way. I'd once been the person people described as calm under pressure, someone who thrived in chaos. Or so I thought. But over time, the weight of it all began to crush me. The endless to-do lists, the constant notifications, the looming deadlines. My mind became a cluttered attic, filled with things I thought I needed but couldn't even name anymore. The breaking point came on an otherwise ordinary Tuesday. I'd forgotten a client meeting. Not just any meeting, but the meeting, the one that could make or break my career. As I frantically flipped through my planner, already 15 minutes late, my chest tightened and my vision blurred. A panic attack. In the midst of my gasping for air, a thought pierced through the chaos. I can't keep living like this. That night, after the day's fires were somewhat extinguished, I sat in the middle of my living room, surrounded by clutter that mirrored my internal state. Stacks of unopened mail, half-read books, and the remnants of hobbies I no longer had time for. I grabbed a notebook and wrote one question at the top of the page. What does peace look like? For the first time in years, I allowed myself to dream of a life not dictated by chaos. My pen moved almost on its own, sketching out an image of a calm, intentional existence, quiet mornings with coffee and a journal, evenings free of work emails, and a home that felt like a sanctuary rather than a storage unit. The vision was clear, but the path to get there, hazy at best. The next day, I began with a single, radical act. I turned off all notifications on my phone. The silence was unnerving at first. I kept reaching for my phone, expecting the familiar buzz or ping, but it never came. The absence of constant interruptions felt foreign, but liberating. For the first time, I realized how much of my anxiety was fueled by the incessant demands of a device that was supposed to make life easier. From there, I moved to my physical space. Inspired by Marie Kondo's philosophy of keeping only what sparks joy, I began decluttering my home. At first, I felt resistance, a tug of guilt for discarding things I'd spent money on or gifts I'd received. But as I filled box after box with items that no longer served me, a lightness emerged. My home transformed into a place where every item had a purpose or brought me happiness. The act of decluttering became symbolic, a shedding of the chaos that had taken root in my life. Next came my schedule. I scrutinized my commitments, saying no more often than I ever had before. At first, it felt uncomfortable, even selfish. But as my calendar began to clear, I found myself with something I hadn't had in years. Time. Time to read, to walk in the park, to sit with my thoughts without feeling the need to rush. The biggest shift, however, came from within. I started meditating, just 5 minutes a day at first, sitting quietly and focusing on my breath. It was harder than I expected. My mind rebelled, throwing up to-do lists and worries. But over time, those 5 minutes became my anchor, a moment of calm I could return to throughout the day. Months passed, and the changes began to ripple outward. I recall one conversation with my partner that truly underscored the transformation. "You seem so much more present these days," they said, a smile breaking through their usual guarded expression. "It's like I finally have all of you here with me." At work, too, the shift was palpable. During a high-stakes project meeting, my newfound clarity allowed me to navigate challenges with poise, earning the trust and respect of my team. These moments showed me how deeply the changes I made had enriched not only my life, but also the connections that mattered most. My mornings were no longer a race against the clock. I woke up earlier, savoring the stillness before the world stirred. My relationships improved as I became more present, less distracted by the noise of my own mind. And when challenges arose, as they inevitably did, I faced them with a steadiness I'd never known before. One evening, as I sipped tea and watched the sun set from my clutter-free living room, I realized I had done it. I'd transformed my life from chaos to calm. The peace I'd once thought unattainable was now my reality. And while life wasn't perfect, it was mine, intentional, balanced, and full of quiet joys. Redesigning my life for peace wasn't easy. It required confronting uncomfortable truths about my habits, my priorities, and even myself. But the rewards, the sense of freedom, clarity, and contentment, made every step worthwhile. If you're reading this and feel trapped in your own chaos, know that change is possible. Start small. Ask yourself, what does peace look like for me? And then step by step, begin to build it.